Well guys, we haven't done a video like this in a while, and today here on The Charge, we're going to be doing a fixer-upper on the Chicago Bulls.
LeBron James all the way in.
And here comes Simmons the other way, 3-on-2. Simmons eludes the defender and lays it in with that. Certainly the length altered that shot out of the equipment.
Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Bernie here, bringing you yet another video here in The Charge, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and basketball opinions. And guys, I'm sorry that the content has been very inconsistent, but here we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls fixer-upper. And if you don't know what that is, it's where we go over each and every team, where we go over what they need to do to improve themselves for the future and here on out. As they do have some of the foundation there, they just need a little bit of stuff to fix up, and then that house or that team franchise will be ready to go for the playoffs and maybe a title contending team. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls today, and another move that they made, and they made two moves. We got to remember that they drafted Wendell Carter Jr., who in the summer league has been really impressive, and in my opinion, I think that he will be better than Marvin Bagley. I know some Marvin Bagley fans in the comment section will be very upset with that comment, but I do think that he has a higher upside, and I think he will bring something more to the Chicago Bulls than Marvin Bagley will for the Sacramento Kings. The next move that we got to talk about is, of course, the low risk but high reward, and that is signing Jabari Parker to a 2-year, $40 million deal, with the second year being a team option. The reason why I call this a low risk is because you're only spending $20 million. You'll still have about 30-something million left in the cap to really do something if you want to save that for next year, or let's say you don't sign Jabari Parker back, you'll probably have around 50, which will be amazing for the team that could potentially sign a superstar, especially in the 2019 free agency class, which is everyone is playing for that 2019 year. But now, like I said, let's talk about the Jabari Parker move as I kept talking about it. I think that was actually a pretty good move for the Chicago Bulls. Like I said, low risk, high reward, because if he does play well, the Chicago Bulls do need a 3. If we look at their depth chart for the 2018-2019, and of course this is all according to ESPN, the number 1 guard is going to be Chris Dunn at the 1, Zach LaVine at the 2, Justin Holiday at the 3, Lauri Markkanen at the 4, and Robin Lopez at the 5. Obviously, the 3 is going to be the biggest key for this team, because let's say Jabari Parker does play the 3. In my opinion, I think he plays the 4 a lot better, but even with him playing the 3, I think it'll be a lot better than having a guy like Justin Holiday, who to me seems like more of a backup than he does a starter. No disrespect to him, I think he's a great player, but I still think that with him, it's a lot better. But like I said, Justin Holiday, a major upgrade there would of course be Jabari Parker. But Jabari Parker is going to be the hometown kid coming back to Chicago, the number 2 overall pick. It'll be great to see him come back and see what he can do with that team. Can he help that team go into the playoffs? They obviously had a good run last year. They wanted to tank, but they couldn't tank well enough because I think their players were too good. But adding Jabari Parker, it might sneak them into that playoff position. You never know in the Eastern Conference, now that LeBron James is gone, where the Cavs are going to go, and then where the Chicago Bulls and the rest of those teams are going to go. Obviously, Philadelphia and Celtics are going to be the number 1 and 2. You can flip or flop each or every one of those. Even the Toronto Raptors, you got to give them a little bit of respect, especially in the regular season. But having a guy like Jabari Parker could help your odds even more. He does everything offensively. He did a lot better in limited minutes, but I want to see more from him. I want to see how he does and plays in a full season. The reason why I call this a low risk as well is because if he does have another injury, you don't have to sign him again for another year. As unfortunate as it is, Jabari Parker is going to be making $20 million, so it's not an all, kind of sad situation, but at the same time, it would suck to see if he wasn't able to continue to play again for a long period of time because of another injury. I'm hoping that he stays healthy. I'm knocking on wood to make sure that something happens, because I don't want him to be... I want him to do well. I want the Chicago Bulls team to succeed because I see a lot of pieces in this team that could really help out. Now, let's say they do decide they have a great foundation, right? They have a beautiful kitchen. They have a beautiful living room. All the stuff is fine. They just need to fix up the interior. They need to modify the floors a little bit, make sure to have wooden floors. And that's going to be in the 2019 free agency class, where they're going to have the final thing that they need. And that's, of course, a great backyard. And that will be the equivalent of signing a superstar player. Now, of course, they would need a small forward. Let's say Jabari Parker doesn't work out. Could they potentially go and sign Jimmy Butler, as he did reject his contract extension for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Obviously, it was between Fred Hoiberg and Jimmy Butler, but I think with the mending of the fences maybe, and now the whole situation is cleared up and there's a lot less animosity towards one another, maybe Jimmy Butler comes back to this team. Can you imagine a team with Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Jimmy Butler, Wendell Carter Jr. and then Lauri Markkanen, that would be a very, very good team, a very good starting five, as you have young players. Whether Chris Dunn develops into something or not, that's going to be a wait-and-see approach with him, as he is 24 years old. I'm giving him one more year to develop, and if he becomes that kind of starter to star level type of point guard, then they'll have something good in their hands for the future. But if he's just going to be that average type of starter, then we're going to have to see them probably go in a different direction, see if they can get a point guard, maybe an Isaiah Thomas. If he's able to stay healthy and has a good year in Denver, maybe you could see him potentially get picked up by the Chicago Bulls and play there. Obviously, other players that we got to talk about is, of course, Klay Thompson, another guy that I think he's more of a California kid. Then I think you could see him come to Chicago if the money is right, because they will have $53 million if they decide to decline Jabari Parker's option. Another player that they could sign potentially is maybe they just want a decent guard. Maybe they get JJ Redick, as he signed another one-year deal with Philadelphia this year. Next year, maybe he makes a little bit more money and goes to Chicago. Maybe helps out that team a little bit more. You also have Contavious Caldwell-Pope, another guy that could be a potentially good to starting shooting guard. Even though they don't really need shooting guards, they need more of that small forward position. You got Bojan Bogdanovic. You also have a guy like Chandler Parsons. Does he come back? Does he have a comeback year this year and actually plays well? He obviously got affected by the Kardashian curse, and it's going to be an interesting thing to see if he can recover from that Kardashian curse, as it is a very deadly curse. I mean, we've seen players' careers end because of that curse. Hopefully, guys, luckily, such as James Harden, hasn't been affected by it as much, but the other guys, you never know what could happen with those guys. Going into a more serious topic, they also could sign a guy like Wilson Chandler, who did very well for the Denver Nuggets when he was there. Obviously, he moved over to a different team, but he could potentially be on the market and potentially could have a pretty good kind of situation where he could be in the starting role with the Chicago Bulls. I think there's a lot of moves that the Chicago Bulls can make in this whole 2019 free agency class, but let's say they do about the 10th or 11th pick. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are coming out next year's draft who aren't really as high. I think the best players are probably going to be taken in the top 7, top 8. But the other guys, I mean, there could be some good role players in that situation. But if we also just look at the Chicago Bulls depth chart and just look at the guys that they have players such as Chandler Hutchinson, who is a Boise State guy. I think he's a very good player. I think he'll be something special in this league. Maybe not to the point where he's a superstar, but maybe just a level below the star level, but just good enough to be a nice role player. Like I said, they have Bobby Portis, which they can do a lot of things with him. They can either start him, they can trade him. I think the one thing that you should do is see if there's a team that needs a power forward and trade him, because if you can trade him and get that situation all cleared up, you could potentially get maybe a number 1 pick in a couple years in the draft when there's some players that you do like coming up. I know there's a lot of young guys that are coming up in this league, especially in the high school program. You don't know who's going to be good, who's not going to be good. But like I said, it will be an interesting situation, as they do have some great players. Denzel Valentine, Justin Holiday potentially will be backups now that, like I said, Jabari Parker's coming in. We could potentially see something very interesting, and also as backups could be a very good. Again, Robin Lopez, Wendell Carter Jr. Obviously, we're going to see Wendell Carter Jr. start at some point. The Chicago Bulls are in a very interesting position as we continue to look forward on from the summer now in the summer league to where they're going to be when they start the regular season. Obviously, there is some moves they can still make. Like I said, the Bobby Portis move would make the most sense to me, but if they want to keep him, they can. I'm just very interested to see what this team can do for the future. Can they become a playoff team? I want to know in the comments down below, do you guys believe that the Chicago Bulls can be a playoff team for next year? And if you don't want them to be a playoff team for next year and you want them to get a draft pick, what player are you guys looking forward to the most? I know there's a couple guys out there. You got Bol, Sharif O'Neal, a lot of other guys, Cameron Reddish, RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson, if those guys decide to come out in the draft. I know a lot of guys are interested in those type of players, but I want to know, Chicago Bulls fans, what player are you most interested in the draft? And if we're talking about the free agency class for 2019, who do you guys want to sign in that class? Do you want to sign Jimmy Butler again? Would you want him on your team again? Do you want to get in Klay Thompson? Do you want to get a Chandler Parsons? Let me know in the comments down below who you guys want to get in next year's, NBA free agency off season. But like I said, guys, this is going to be the end of the fixer-upper for the Chicago Bulls. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of my opinions? Am I right? Am I wrong? I would love to discuss this, guys, in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And go and check out our other fixer-uppers. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.